So the challenge to me from an old friend from radio days, let's see if you can paint rocks on a water scene. So that's what I did. I didn't know how to do it. I had a reference photo and so painted what I saw. So that's how the rock looked before I painted it. And that's how the rock looks as if it was not found yet, still sitting in the river somewhere. So yes, this was a challenge, absolutely. And Jim, thank you for suggesting or for challenging me. Jim's a really talented guy. He's an amazingly intelligent guy. Very sweet guy too, very soft-spoken and just an all-around nice guy. But he was challenging me to paint rocks in the river. Well, there it is. I don't know if I get an A or a B plus or a D, or did I fail? I don't know. I'm trying to see it myself. I'm not sure. But anyway, this was kind of a fun one, kind of a challenge. And if I can find him, because I don't work in radio anymore, it's been 5 years, so I don't know how I'd find him unless I wrote to him. I'll give it to him. I'll give him the rock he challenged me to paint. All right, I'll show you how I did that right now. Oh, and by the way, I also covered it with varnish. It's actually watercolor varnish. It's not watercolor, I mean acrylic. It's that. That's what I covered it with. So you kind of give it a nice shine. Again, that's how it looked earlier before I painted it. And that's the side I painted. All right. It's a long video. I almost gave up, but I'll show you how I did that right now. So the challenge is, Poppa, can you paint a river rock? Here's the river rock, to look like a river rock or rocks in the river. Can you make it look like there's other rocks and they're in the river or something like that? Can you make it look like it's home? So let's try. So I'm gonna use a pencil. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it on here. No, not really. You can't really see it. You know what I'm gonna have to do? I'm gonna have to just paint it. So sketching I can sort of see it, but not really. All right, well let's try this. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure if I can pull this off. Let me see. Make it look like a rock in the river. Make it look like rocks in the river. Oh my gosh, okay. Well, do we love challenges? So let me tell you the palette first. The palette is 3 primaries. Primary red, primary yellow, and that's primary cyan or blue. That's burnt umber. That's Payne's gray. That's yellow ochre. That's white. And you can tell that's orange. Sometimes I think I say this every time, but when I use orange, it's only because it's quicker. I'm looking at a reference photo, but I don't want to share it on here because I'm pretty sure it's copyrighted. But I'm not going to duplicate it anyway. Besides which, this is just for fun. But for the integrity of the photographer who took the picture of the rocks in the water. I don't know where to start on here. Trying to analyze it. All right, we'll make some rock here. We'll make a rock here. Make a bunch of rocks in here. Okay, how do I do this? Well, let me start with the darkest lines that I see in this photograph. So that way I can at least start with something. Okay, so I see a line over here. The edge of that rock right there. There's a rock right there. Okay, and then actually this side of that rock is lit. I mean, is shadowed. So these 2 rocks have a little shadow there. And the darkest shadows are on the ones that are poking out of the water. So a little bit right here, because this rock right here is actually half out of the water. That's going to be a challenge. Oh, that's all I can do there. Okay. Now let's take some of this white and mix it into that Payne's gray and add a little bit of blue. Boy, this is, you have challenged me, sir. Sir, you have challenged me. Okay. But it's okay. A good challenge is always up for a good challenge, right? Okay, I'm going to start this first rock, see how it comes out. So this particular rock is not completely submerged in the water. Yeah. And it almost looks the shape of the rock I'm painting. So there's that. Okay, and then add a little bit of Payne's gray to it to put this side of it a little bit darker than that. So not as dark as the straight out of the tube, a little darker. This is the bottom, the shadows on the bottom. And then over here, we have that side also. We have another rock next to it. There's I see a lot of burnt umber in there. And yellow ochre. Wow. You've given me a challenge. Whew. Yeah, this is not easy. But I'm going to do it. I'm trying to stick to my statement that if you can see it, you can paint it. I'm gonna try to stick to that. If you can see it, you can paint it. Let's see how well I do. Okay. And over here. So first I'm just establishing where these rocks are. There's another. Right there, this one comes around here. I guess I'm basically just sketching in the rocks with the lightened Payne's gray. It seems to be serving as a good tool for that. There's a little rock under there. There's another rock over here. We're going to have to add lights and darks to these. There's another rock there. Let's go ahead and get some more light here. Right here. Over here there's a rock. And over here there's one under the water. Okay. And this one also has a piece of it sticking out of the water. This is a big rock over here. Big rock right there. And that one's coming out of the water, so that's got a little bit of this darkness here. Almost looks like an egg shape, the part that's sticking out of the water. And then over here we have one also. Let's get all these on here. I guess that's the first step, is to sketch them in. I tell you every time, and I'm not lying to you, I honestly don't know what I'm doing. This is based on a challenge on Facebook, asking me if I could paint the river rock to look like rocks in the river. Yeah. I probably didn't articulate it well when I first tried to explain what was being requested of me. So I don't know the answer yet. You probably do, because you've seen the intro video. I would think if you're watching this, it means I did it. I was able to pull it off. I hope so. I hope so. I mean, if I can't pull it off, there's no sense in putting this video up there. Right? There's a bunch of rocks. So now I'm just kind of, let's see, this is a big rock over here. This is mostly out of the water. So the other side of it, is it still focused? I hope. The other side of that rock is over here. And then this one is also out of the water. So we have some dark reflections over here. I'm going to be surprised if I actually pull this off. Some more rocks. Just, lots of little circles, basically ovals, representing all these rocks in the water. And that's really, so far, the best I can tell you is how to do this, because I don't know how to do this. I'm learning at the same time you are. Alright, and then put some rocks over here. This is not duplicating the picture at all, the photograph. I just feel funny put the photograph on the video. It says, all over the video it says Shutterstock. So it's got the watermark on it. You know, that person clearly doesn't want us to be using this unless we pay for it. So I don't want to show the photograph. But trust me, I'm not duplicating it. It's rocks in the water. Okay. I can tell you the photographer though, Dennis Tacazilli. Tacazily. Yeah, no, I don't mind telling you who took the photograph. I don't mind giving credit. I just don't know that I'm allowed to show it on the video. I know I've had my different opinions about using screenshots from other videos, but that's different because they don't have a watermark on them. Alright, well there we go now, I guess. Do I have one over here? Let's see, now I'm lost. I have so many circles, I don't know what's what. So I'm just going to keep adding water. Alright, there we go. That's probably as good as it's going to get. I covered the whole top anyway. Might have to go around the side. Get some of these. Okay, so let's make that look like river rocks. Somehow, some way. So how are we going to pull that off? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Alright, so those are some of the dark areas. Now let me clean the brush. And make sure it's clean. Yeah. I think I see a lot of yellow ochre, yellow, maybe light yellow ochre, so I'll mix yellow and yellow ochre. Let's see how that looks. Just to get some of these reflection, the surface rocks. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good there. Over here. Over there, surface rock. Just a little hint of the, oh, I got the, see, I didn't let the Payne's gray dry completely. I should have let it dry. Oh well. We'll keep working it. Yeah, so we want this, some of these surfaces of these, the rocks that are sticking out of the water. We'll have this kind of a yellow color. The ones that are underneath the water have a bluish tint to them from the water itself, I'm pretty sure. And This is the interesting one right here because it's got part of it sticking out of the water. If I could pull that off, that would be great. And then we have this one over here that has the same thing. This one's also sticking out of the water a little bit. And then over here, get some of this yellow ochre in there. And then over here, put a little bit of the brown. This one's got some brown in it. I think the key here is here's some brown over here too. I think the key is to get the surface level ones, the ones above the surface of the water, with the yellows and the browns, the yellow ochres and the burnt umbers. I think that's going to be key here. And then the ones under the water will have more of that blue. So, see if we can pull this off. So I see a little bit of orange here on this side here. A little bit. A little bit of orange over here too. So the person who challenged me to do this is named Jim. And I know Jim for years and years and years. He is an incredibly talented and smart guy. He was always the go-to guy when I worked in radio. He was the guy who fixed everything that broke. He was an engineer. He is an engineer. I think he still does it. I don't think he's retired yet. But he was the nicest guy, very soft-spoken, and was never, as far as I know, an on-air personality. Now, I don't know that he was, but he might have been. And but I knew him in the context of a guy who knew how to fix everything. Everything. I mean everything. And his wife was so sweet. She would come in and she would be clipping coupons. Yep. Clipping coupons. And I remember asking her about it one time, and she told me that they saved so much money by clipping coupons. And I never really quite understood that. Well, no, that's not true. I do understand it. I just never did it. How about that? And yeah, I made a wrong statement when I said I didn't understand it. I'm trying to paint here, so my mind doesn't work completely well when I'm painting and talking. But anyway, yeah, she would come in and she'd clip coupons, and I was always amazed at that because she did so many of them. Some dark over here. It's like all of these areas that have the part of the rock that's sticking out of the water. They're all orange and brown, yellow. So, but anyway, so one year, Robin and I came up with this idea to have local people who could sing or play an instrument, local people to do holiday songs, do Christmas songs, Hanukkah songs, and whatever holiday they celebrate. If they could play an instrument or sing, we invited them to come in, and they would sing on the radio or play on the radio. Or actually, what they would do is they bring me a recording, and I would put that recording on the radio. And of course, just like you play a record, back in those days. But they would bring a tape or an MP3 or something. And Jim, unbeknownst to any of us who worked there, is like this amazing piano player. Who knew? We didn't know. And when we heard his piano playing, we were awestruck. We dropped our jaws, whatever they say. So, very talented. I met so many people in because of the radio show. And sometimes they still communicate with me and they still talk about the radio show. Everybody liked the radio show Robert and I did. We weren't pounding the desk with. It was a talk show, but don't think in terms of like the talk shows you hear today. And I have nothing against the talk shows I hear today. I just don't. That just wasn't us. We couldn't have done that. All right, so I have all of these. Geez, I'm not sure I know what I'm doing here. I'm not sure what I'm doing. All right. Let's get some white spots on here. Oh, these are wet. I know I should do this last, but let's see if I can pull this off. See, all this has water on these pieces that are sticking out of the water have reflections because the water in the air is causing these reflections. All right. Now I think it's a matter of doing light blue. Let's just try light blue. Let's just see if that idea works. And then I can always change it. Actually, I'll do dark light blue, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take the light blue that I just made, I'm going to add a little bit of Payne's Gray to it to make it a little bit light dark blue, if that makes sense. Let's see how that works out here. So here we go. Put some shadows on that. Let's put shadows on all these rocks here. I'll take the light dark blue and I'll put shadows on them because all of these are underwater. I think all these over here. Hope I'm doing it. Still, it doesn't look like it yet. Nope. I don't think I'm there yet. Get some yellow ochre in there. Sort of has a green look over here. almost has the lit side of the underwater part almost looks like it's green if I look at it closely. You know, one trick you can do to actually figure out the color, if you have an app on your phone that can determine colors, it'll actually tell you what color you're looking at. I know that sounds like cheating, but hey, if it's a tool at your disposal. I think at one time probably paint in a tube was probably considered cheating, because back in the early days, the artists all made their own paint. So right now it's starting to look like it, but it's got that cartoon effect. It looks like almost like fried eggs in some places. There's some white. Just a very little white here. Just around these rocks. I'm sure I'm exaggerating some of these a lot. Almost looks like a white line. Very tiny little white spots where the surface of the rock is reflecting light. Alright, let's get some of this light blue, make it lighter, and get rid of that yellow so it doesn't come out green. Oh yeah, why did I take on this assignment? Why did I choose to do this one? I'm trying to prove something. Well, it's not a bad thing to try to prove something. I don't mean prove it as in I told you so. I mean just to myself, like, could I do this? I wonder if doing it on a rock is the part that's the hard part. Okay, gotta make that darker. That's a little bit too light. See, some of this does look green to me. Got a little blue there. I mean, a little yellow. Make it look green and blue. Very subtle difference. How to paint rocks so they look like they're underwater. This is tedious. Let me tell you something. This is taxing me. Taxing, funny word. This is taxing me. I guess one way to do it would be to paint them and then paint over the water parts, right? But I'm not so sure that would work. Alright, let me get some of this green on here. I think if the ones underwater had a little bit of green to them. Maybe I chose too many rocks. Maybe I should just had a couple of rocks in the water. Maybe I picked a subject with too many. I don't know. It looks like a mess. It doesn't look like rocks underwater to me. Not yet. All right, let's keep working it. Let's keep working it. I think I'm on the right trail though, with the green and the yellow green. I think that's the right way. Okay, I have no idea if this is starting to look like something or not. I do think I don't know what I think. I think it's some very, very fine white lines where the water is hitting the edge of the rock. But the surface, where the rocks are poking out of the surface. So if I was going to use the illustration approach rather than the artsy approach, I would put some ripples in the water. And so I might do that. I know that's kind of cheating a little bit, but I feel like I might do that. I haven't done it yet. The white that I am putting in here is I'm actually observing it in the photograph. Not giving up yet. I feel like I'm not there yet, but I'm not giving up yet. I put some more lines on the side just to make it go around to the edge, even if I don't paint all of them. Just little rocks. Rocks on rocks. Lots and lots of rocks. I'm really just making it up now as I go. I'm not even looking at the reference photo. I'm just trying to get it so it goes around the side of it. I'm not worried about the back of the rock. Just this side, right? Am I keeping the rock in the picture here? Trying to make a video and paint the rock at the same time. Jim, I am taking you up on your challenge. So getting back to what I was telling you before, so when Robin and I did the radio show, and we asked people to come in with their guitar or bring us or whatever they played, and we asked them to give us some locally produced Christmas music. The response was overwhelming. There were so many people who wanted to do that. And so we did a Facebook page. And it's still there if you want to see it. It's called Ocala Covers Christmas or something like that. Ocala Christmas? I don't know. But yeah, a lot of people showed up to do it and came in, and they were guests on the show. It was very cool. It was very, very fun. We got to know a lot of people from doing that, and a lot of people that I didn't know before. They came in and played their guitars and sang and gave us some Christmas songs that were originals. They did Christmas songs, that were standards, whatever you want to say. And it was a fun community event. Then we did have our share of people who took advantage of it too. People who were trying to sell, supplements and who knows what. So then I had to stop it. Yeah. But then the next year I started it up again, and I didn't have that same problem. I don't know why, but maybe because I wasn't promoting it as much, so nobody knew I was doing it except for the musicians. But they came in, and what was kind of cool about it is that the musicians that came in many cases, were names I had heard. Like, how you hear about people in town who are talented. You say, oh, this guy's a great saxophone player, a great musician, and you've heard of them, but you never met them. Or maybe you've seen them play, like at a local venue, a bar, or something like that. Well, that's what this was. I got to meet some of the people who I had heard about, but never met. You know who we met by doing this? Do you remember the band, the Royal Guardsmen? They did a song called Snoopy versus the Red Baron. I know, that's a million years ago, right? But yeah, they came in. That was kind of cool to meet them. So, yeah, they live here in town. I think they still live here. I don't really know. That was a long time ago. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm noticing there's green in here, or the effect of green. And it's not really green. So there's some light, almost hard to see rocks in there. And if I just put a couple dots in here, maybe that'll help. Alright, let me take some of this yellow. There's some of the rocks underneath the water. They're getting light hit on them too. But it's a little subdued, I guess, because of the water. So I'm going to use that as the highlight for these rocks. Kind of just dabbing it on now. Get a little bit more blue in there. I guess the deeper they are under the water, even though it's only a few inches deep, the darker it'll be. All right, now let me take this tiny, tiny brush. I think I am going to use the illustration trick. Put some light reflecting off of these things. Maybe there's water flowing here. I don't know if I'm making a mistake by doing this or not. Maybe it shouldn't be white. Maybe it should be light, light, light blue. Very light. A rock that looks like rocks. No, I don't think the illustration trick worked out too well. So let me undo that. I'll just get some of that light green in there, I think. I think that'll help. Try to figure out how to get the sunlight under the water look. So I'm going to assume that's a very blue, light blue green. Like that. It's a little bit too dark. I think the yellow ochre is the magic color for these underwater rocks. It's got to have a little bit of green to it though. river rock with river rocks. Get some very light yellow ochre that is brought down in very light. Okay, let's try that fine white line idea again. Right on the edge where the water. It's meaning the tip of the rock. Very fine line. Should I try one other thing? I think I'm okay with it. Maybe I should just stop. You know what I'll do? I'll take a picture of it with my phone. Because if it looks like it in my picture of my phone... Oh gosh, no it doesn't. Let me see. No, it doesn't look like it yet. No, I don't think so. It almost does. It almost does, but what did I get wrong? I don't know. Not sure. Maybe a little bit more light blue in some places. I think it should be a light blue-green, not blue. A light blue-green. Boy, this is a challenge. It's almost like I'm putting a little bit of a haze over everything. A little bit of a glaze. I think that's making it look better. Yeah, this is the ultimate happy accident right here. Yeah. It just seems to be working. Like all of these rocks that are underwater are now getting a little bit of a glaze on them. Yeah, I think now it's working. I think we've done it now. I think that's what it needed. It needed that blue-green, just that blue-green on everything. Oh man, I think that's working. James Gurney, if you're watching, you probably were telling me to do that. You're probably yelling at your screen. Well, there, that's not too bad. I guess that sort of kind of looks like it. I feel like the bright spots on the parts that are sticking out of the water should be brighter. But I don't know if I can do them any brighter. Maybe a couple of spots over here where there's actually shadow on the water. Maybe they can be darker. Well, I think that might have done it. That might have been the trick I needed to do, is to put that, like, just dabbing the light green, blue-green all over everything. Everything underwater. Yeah, so you can see them, but you can see them a little bit less defined. Okay. Put a little bit of yellow. I hope I don't ruin it now. I just want to try to get this a little bit brighter here. These rocks almost look like potatoes. All right, get some more white on there, reflecting the light. All right, I think I am done. I think I met the challenge. I don't know. Now let me see with the camera. Well, you know what? It's as good as it's going to get. So, is it a pebble in the water? You know what? I think once it dries, I'm going to put some glaze on it, some varnish. All right, I guess I'm done. Well, Jim, did I do it? Did I create the look of a rock, a river rock in the water with river rocks? That took longer than I thought it would. All right, talk to you later.